in the music scene is welcome to call. We'll get you on the air. All right, so it looks like we have our next show getting ready to start. Hang on a second. Let me get the caller on. Tony, is that you?
Hello there. Can you hear me good?
Yeah. Hi, Tony. How you doing today?
Okay. How are you?
Good. All right. So we have Tony DeSanto on Tony D's Music Room on live with us now. So Tony, I'm looking at your page. So tell us what's going on in the music room today.
A lot of music history.
Yes. So I was reading today. I think we're close to the anniversary of the loss of Stevie Ray Vaughan. Is that correct?
Yes, that was. I believe it was today.
Yeah, 27 years ago. I believe it happened. The helicopter crash. You know, I'm looking at your. Yeah, what a great artist. I'm looking at your photo here. I guess that's his statue there, standing in a whole bunch of water.
Yeah, out in Texas.
Yeah. Is that so? Is the water as high as the top of the platform he's standing on? Is that what's going on there?
It looks that way. I just found that picture on the social network here, and I put it on the page. I'm not really sure.
Wow.
You know, it looks like it's. I don't know if that's very recent or if it's, you know, when it was first coming to water. You know, I'm not sure when it was taken.
Yeah, I think it's still raining over there pretty badly.
Yeah,
it's
supposed to be getting rain, I think, till Thursday or something. I mean, that's it's unbelievable. That's like Noah's Ark stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. So tell us a little bit about the interest in the music history. I like music history myself, but I like to get your perspective on it. So,
what I do on the page is I have all this stuff I've researched already. I mean, it's all saved and I just post it, but I try and find out different things that happen on this certain day. You know, different records that were at number one, or different artists that were born, or when they passed away, and I post it up, and I try and mix it up pretty well so that it meets everybody's taste. You know, I mean, one person isn't going to like everything on there, and one person ain't going to have the time to sit down and read every single one. But you know, you pick out who you like, you know, and you can read about them. And I try and get as much background as I can on each one and put it on there, and it seems to be going pretty well for me. It's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work, and it takes up a lot of time. But the biggest thing was doing the research, and I got all of that done. All I do really is add to it. Like this year, if something happened this year, I add to it. But when I started doing this, it was like constantly researching, and it was very time-consuming. But I enjoy doing it because I enjoy reading about this stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm. So do you keep this information in a database that you can refer back to, or do you have like an Excel spreadsheet that you use?
I have a folder with it all, with each day of the year.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I'm looking at... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just copy and paste each day, you know?
Okay.
The only thing I have to watch out is YouTube. YouTube a lot of times changes blocks some of the videos, and I got to check to make sure the video's still playable. If not, I have to go find another, version of the video. I try and put up a video for each post that I do of the history, and this way people can get to hear the artist that they like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about this coffee table that you have up on Tony D's music room. 2 guitars in the coffee table.
It was a picture I found on the internet. I thought it was pretty cool. I do that. I look around for pictures of different, cool guitars, and coffee table came up. I found it on social network somewhere, and I grabbed it, posted it. But that's a pretty cool idea, don't you think?
Oh, I love it, man. It's really, I'd like to have that, to be honest with you. And I'm not a big furniture buff, but that is cool. That is cool. So let me just change the subject just a little bit. I know, not only do you do the music group, but you're an accomplished artist. And from what Bruce Barbini tells me, you are an accomplished audio person. I don't know if you want to call it an audio engineer, but you can mix music and you know how music should sound. I had an interesting experience not very long ago on Thursday. I was actually out at Chicky and Pete's with Billy Martin from Acoustic Martin and a couple other bands, and he asked me to come and try to do the show live and record the show. So I recorded the show, and I also recorded the ambient sound, which Billy says, listen, you got to get a microphone out pointed towards the audience, record the ambient sound, so you hear the audience's reaction, which was a very cool thing. But listen, I'm not an engineer. I'm not an audio guy. I just talk on a microphone. I have a mixer, you know what I mean? But as far as, mixing music, thumbs down. I get it right sometimes. Most of the time I get it wrong. Sounds, kind of third worldish. Yeah, okay. But anyway, here, the question I have for you is, which I found very, very interesting. I was probably playing with the dials a little bit more than I should have, but when I left the dials where they were, and I just let the thing go and the recording go, basically here's what I found out when I started listening to the recordings. When it seemed to me, and I don't know, I'm not an expert at this, it seemed to me certain songs captured the audience's attention more than others, because the reason I kind of realized that is because the quietness of the audience. What is your experience with that? So you're recording a show, you're recording the ambient sound. I don't know, is that a normal thing that people do in a live show? I would imagine it must be. So yeah. Some songs, the audience was very, very quiet, and they were very intently listening. And at the end, you hear, yay, people clapping and making whoo, whoo, whoo sounds, things like that. And other songs, you just heard the background chatter of conversation. What's up with that?
Well, it's actually the placement of the microphone and what you're letting come through on the track, on each individual track. That's what mixing is all about. If you have a mic on the audience because you want to record their response, when you do your final mix on the music, it depends how loud you want that to come up to. Some people, when they're filming live, they're just using one camera. So the camera is in front of the band somewhere on the floor. If there's people sitting next to the camera, you're going to hear them all night, no matter what. And you're only recording one track, so you can't take it out later.
That's what I was basically doing. I was recording one track, but the interesting thing was there were songs where the audience was perfectly quiet during the song until the end, and then they cheered. And then there was other songs where and there was other songs that they were just gabbing, having conversations. So you think that's a good? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nothing. That has nothing to do with mixing.
That's right.
People paying attention.
That's correct. So do you think that's a good indication of what they like?
Oh, sure. If they're
okay.
Yeah, there's been many times when you're playing and there's people at the front table and they're not paying attention at all. And they're just, talking in their own, you wonder, like, what are you here for? Are you here just to talk to your friends, or are you here for music, to listen to music? But, that's the way a lot of people are. What are you going to do? That's just one thing you have to put up with,
That's true. I was interviewing an artist, and he was telling me about the different audiences, and this particular person that came up to talk to the artist was from Europe. And he was complaining to the artist, saying that this audience here is very disrespectful. In Europe, you would never hear the audience talking during a song, but over here, right. he was like flabbergasted. He couldn't understand why the audience wasn't there respecting the music. It's very interesting. Have you heard stuff like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Europe's a whole different audience. Even for response, like you'll get people at concerts here that are up in their seats dancing around, and you go over to Europe, and they're enjoying it just as much, but they're not as active like that. They just sit and listen. You know, it's hard to get them up off, it's hard to get them up off on their feet dancing. That's just the way it is over there, you know. But yeah, you do have a lot. You find most of the disrespectful stuff in the local scene. You know, when somebody goes to see a big artist, they pay attention. When they go to a local bar, they're just there to have fun, and you know the music's there, and a lot of them don't even want to pay attention to the band. You know, some do. It depends on the following. It depends on your following. You know, the band's following it. If it's people that come to see them, or if it's just people that hang out at that bar, whether you're there or not.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So today's post, yeah, I see you have a lot of. I see you have some Beatles stuff. You have John Lennon up there. Tell us a little bit about. Tell us a little bit about the history that you follow with the Beatles and John Lennon. Are they one of your favorite bands?
Well, here's a funny one. On this day, August 28th, 2010, somebody bought John Lennon's toilet for $10,000.
I saw that. You had that post. And 9,000. Actually, I think it's actually more because it was like 9,090 pounds or something. And a pound is a little bit more than $1. Yeah.
Well, if you watch the video, it's 3 times that. The video, by the time the video was made, you know, I just searched YouTube for a video pertaining to John Lennon's toilet, and that's what I got for a video. The guys on there, they're saying it's even triple what's posted here.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
And
I wonder.
You have like McCartney. His first daughter was born on this day in 1969. So I have a little bit about him. There's Billy Joel today. The River of Dreams album was on a 3-week run at #1. It's a lot of interesting stuff. It depends on who you like too, you know.
Yeah, you seem to cover the gamut. Now, do you cover?
I stick one of my own stuff in there too, you know. One of my own covers and my own originals. I always stick one in, at least one a day. It's like today, in 1963, the Beatles' "Please Please Me" album was in its 23rd week in the top 10.
Amazing. That's so. Do you think that with this music environment that we have here, with people now getting discovered on YouTube and the minimum number of A&R people that go out and try to discover artists, do you think we're going to see another group like the Beatles that are just become history makers? Now there are a lot of other groups, but I think that if you talk to people about the Beatles are it in many people's minds. So, do you think that we're going to see another Beatles, or do you have another band that you might compare to the Beatles' popularity as a person that does music history?
No, there's not going to be another Beatles. The Beatles came at the right time. They had the right stuff. And their versatility is what made them so. The music has just moved on so much now and spread out to so many different areas. You're never going to see a group with that much power again, you know, that much status. You know, the Beatles are. What music today are you going to be? You think you're going to be listening to it 50 years from now? They're still listening to the Beatles.
Yeah, the youngsters of today. Matter of fact, when I was at Chicky and Pete's, there was a band there called, and they had their acoustic version of the band. It's a band called Angus Road. I'd say 9 out of 10 songs that they played were Beatles songs, and these were youngsters, teenagers. These were teenagers.
Classic rock in its own. I mean, the classic rock has survived into today. All the groups from the 60s and 70s, they're still going. You know, you're still listening to old Stones. You're still listening to Woodstock stuff. It's still around. You know, it's still, everybody's listening to it yet. I mean, even like a lot of the young people that are into their stuff today, but they also enjoy the classic rock stuff. I say, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. The interesting thing that I've noticed is they're adding a lot of these. Now, you have a lot of this, and I'm not a big fan of it, and I think a lot of youngsters may be a big fan of this. Is this electronic dance music? Listen, I like dancing, at a club, but they have this electronic dance music which they play incredibly loud. I mean, you literally, I don't know how people don't. It's so loud. The music's not terrible, but it's just so loud that in 30 seconds I get a headache. But what I noticed what they're doing is they're including the 60s music in the mix, parts of it. So even that class of music is in remembrance of the great ones.
Too technical today. There's too much technology today. There's no heart in the music. That's what I call it. Heart. You don't feel it. There's no soul there. It's just all reproduced electronically and but the kids that are into it today, it's all they know. That's what they grew up with that. They didn't grow up in our era. So I'm not knocking it on their end, but to me, it's just I don't care, Bert. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, maybe they.
I like when a band goes in and records, and when you're seeing a band live and somebody screws up, it's a live feel, It's
absolutely.
Not all, now they can walk. You hardly even have to know how to play anything these days. You can go to the studio and just half-ass go through something, and they can just touch it all up, vocals, music, instruments, anything, and make you sound like $1 million.
Exactly. The stage presence is not there.
When you're live too, they could also do it when you go out live too, and you don't need no talent. You needed talent back in the '60s. You had to know your instrument. You had to know your music. You had to be a good songwriter, anything like that. Today, nothing like that today.
Yeah, I happen to agree with you. A lot of the bands today, I think, don't have the stage presence of the bands prior. Even a lot of the local bands, but more so with the local bands, they have a better stage presence because they're playing out. But some of these larger bands that they may not have the stage presence of of a neighborhood band, or a regional band. That's what you had in the day when you were playing out, 3-4 nights a week. In the Scranton, in the Northeast Pennsylvania area as well, you gained a large stage presence. That's music in my eyes. People that are playing it and playing it for real. You can go in the studio and mix anything, but that's not really produced music from a guitar or a drum set. That's adjusted. in my opinion, that's adjusted music.
A lot of your big entertainers today, most of the music is piped onto the stage, and it's all the show is all what's the word I'm looking for?
Lip
it's
sync.
A show that they play. Lip sync, but it's pyrotechnics. You name it. You know what I mean? Anything to just blow you away visually. And I don't know, to me, when you could go to a concert and watch a group and they could blow you away just by standing there and playing, that's a group to me.
Absolutely.
They don't need everything. I'm not saying none of it. Some of it's cool. I mean, even like McCartney uses some of it now, when he's on stage. But to an extent, it's not the main part of the show. It's to add to the show. The big part of the show is his performance and his band's performance. And
absolutely.
I went to see Joe Walsh a while back, not too long ago, and he was phenomenal. And he created a '60s era of in the place, with the lights and this and that. You felt like you were back in the '60s for a couple hours. It was great. But it was his performance that knocked you out,
Absolutely. He has some serious stage presence. Hey, we got a caller on. Let's bring the caller on. So hang on 1 second. We'll get them on the line with us.
Okay.
Hey, caller, 714 area code. What's your name? You're on the air.
Dave Peaceman.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave, do me a favor. Lower your computer, okay? You're gonna get. We hear the regeneration of it. Plus, you're gonna get confused.
I figured that out. I just did.
Okay. All right, Tony. Look, Tony, we have Dave Peaceman on. Do you fellas know each other?
Yeah, we know each other from Facebook. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing all right, Tony. Glad I could catch the show.
I'm glad you called in. Cool. Dave's from the West Coast, in case anybody wants to know. He's a musician and entertainer himself, and he puts out some really good work on the internet. You should try to look him up.
So tell us where you play, Dave. Dave, right?
Yeah, I play my own music. I write a lot of songs. In fact, I've been working a little bit with a guy in Austria named Michael Winter, and we just put out what will be my 98th song, either written or co-written. We just put it out on Facebook yesterday. It's called Circle of Love. If you get a chance, check it out.
Very good. Now, are you a solo artist, or you play with a band?
Yes to both questions.
Okay.
Actually, I have a thing I call the Dave Peaceman Band. I'm the only permanent member, other than my recent drummer that I acquired about 6 months ago, and she's been drumming for me pretty steadily. All the other time, I just use the musicians of the moment to back me up. But I also do solo performances as well.
And you know Tony through the music room? Is that how you met Tony?
I met Tony through the music room through Facebook. We met on a page that neither one of us particularly cared for, and we just kind of stayed in touch with each other musically throughout the next 3 years.
That's great. So what area?
I'm a big fan of Tony's.
I'm a big fan of Tony's myself. I look at his page constantly, and Tony does a lot of work, and he knows a lot about music, and I learn a lot from him. So it's a fantastic resource. Where do you play in California? You play up and down the coast, or you're from California? Is that right?
Yeah, I live in Huntington Beach.
Okay.
Actually, I play a few places here locally. I play at a place called How Hall. I play at a place called the Beach Hut. I play C3 Vapor over in Costa Mesa. I play a couple clubs down over in Long Beach. I get around.
Excellent.
I spend a lot of time recording.
And why don't you tell folks how they can hear some of your music, or buy some of your music?
They can look for the Dave Peaceman Band on Reverb Nation. They can look for Dave Peaceman on SoundCloud. They can look for me on Facebook. I have 3 pages there. My regular timeline page, which is Dave Peaceman. I also have a fan page called the Dave Peaceman Band fan page. And I also have a group page called the Dave Peaceman Band.
Wonderful. Excuse me.
You're spreading a lot of peace.
Say again, Tony?
I said you're spreading a lot of peace there.
There you
That's
go.
the name of the game.
Yeah, we need more of that. To be honest with you, we need more of that.
Dave's a dedicated musician. He's constantly hard at work, constantly putting stuff out. It's hard to keep up with him with all his posts that he does. And but when I am able to catch his posts of his new songs, I always enjoy them. And we get back to each other. We let each other know that we're listening in. So.
It's fabulous.
I think we could start a mutual admiration society.
Well, the internet and Facebook and Twitter and all the other platforms actually has brought a lot of musicians a lot closer together. So it's a lot easier now to communicate. I mean, there's positive aspects of it, and there's negative aspects as well that Tony and I have been talking about with just people going into the studio and tracking stuff versus the stage presence, which a lot of these young musicians today have not acquired. How do you find a lot of the youngsters out on the West Coast, looking at the bands of the past like the Beatles and the Grateful Dead and the Rolling Stones? How is the market out there? What are people doing out there as far as performing?
As far as performing, there's all the genres are very heavily represented out here, but I do find a lot of the younger crowd showing up at my shows and talking about Beatles and Stones and the Who and you know, the British Invasion and Hendrix and just about everything that was going on back in the day. That's where they understand that that's what they're doing came from.
Did you think they learned that from what their parents and their grandparents were listening to? How did they get turned on to this music?
I'm thinking it came. I think you're right. I think it came from their parents and their grandparents and whatnot, because you grew up in a house, you're going to be listening to what mom and dad are listening to. You can't get away from that. And a lot of them are listening. A lot of the guys that are just mom and dads now, that are a generation away from the 60s and 70s, grew up with listening to the 60s and 70s, and now they let their kids listen to it, and the kids are really into it, because I think they realize that some of the music that's coming out today isn't really music. I know I sound just like my dad when I say that.
I know. You know, we've always. I remember growing up. We've always got the comments like, "Oh, your hair's too long," and look at that. Listen to that stuff you're listening to. And I grew up in the '60s. And I wasn't the quintessential flower child, but I listened to the Jimi Hendrix and the Janis Joplins and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. So, we kind of say, I catch myself saying the same thing. Oh man, I went and you go out and you along here on the Jersey Shore, you get all kinds of different entertainment venues. And you walk into a place and they're playing electronic music, and in about 30 seconds my head is about to explode because it's so loud. And I'm walking out saying to myself, "Oh, these kids today!" And that's what our parents said about me.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. But those are the facts. So, Tony, are you working together with Dave on any music, or what is your other than a professional, other than a peer relationship? Are you doing anything together for entertaining?
Well, we haven't really collaborated on nothing. No, that's something to think about, though, Dave. I don't know. We just never got around.
That is something to think about.
He did sneak in on one of my songs a while back and throw some harmonica on top of it. I remember that.
There you go.
I forgot all about that. Yeah, I did do that. I forgot about that.
I had a song out there, and he took some harmonica on it and sent it back to me, and it was pretty good. So I guess you could say we did do something.
Yeah,
well, the internet makes it a lot more possible. Hey, listen, I think we have another caller on here from the 570 area. Dave, I'm going to leave your mic on, so you can sound up while we're on the line too. We can all get a little conference going. So let me get this other person on the line with us. Okay, I'm going to liven up their mic. Hello, you're on with Al. You're on with Al Fink and Tony D and Dave out from the West Coast. Who's this? 2634.
This is Bruce Barbini calling again. Dave,
Bruce.
What's up, buddy? Tony, what's up? I know both.
Bruce, I sent you your money.
I know. Well,
you think he's in a bill collection mode tonight?
I want more, Tony. I could use another set of strings on my bass. But,
that's pretty
Dave,
funny.
I haven't. It's good that you called in. I haven't talked to you personally, but I listen to a lot of Dave's stuff too. Excellent musician. I'm thrilled that he has now, getting a drummer, bass writing with somebody else, and his music is really, really good. The only reason I'm going to be quick here, because obviously I'm fortunate enough to live by Tony, and you know how much I think of him and what he's taught me. But the one thing I wanted to get into that you were talking about before was the videography, Al. Okay. And we have a videographer that shows up when we're doing a video, especially in the music room, and he might shoot roughly I'll say 20 minutes, maybe more, 45 minutes worth of tape of us playing. And what Tony does real well is our videographer will give it to Tony, and he'll cut it down to however the sound is. That's where he's a master. He'll cut it down to, the length of a song, whether it be 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 seconds, or as Billy Joel said, they cut it down to 3:05. But that's the part where, and Dave too, where you sit there and you do all the work and you barely get any credit for it, and it's the hardest part. It's one of the hardest parts of, playing the song is one thing and recording it, but getting the video together and editing all that's where Tony shines also. And obviously what I think of him as a musician and what he's done for me. And like I said, it's too bad Dave, well, not too bad, lucky Dave's on the West Coast. I wish we were on the West Coast, Dave. Huntington Beach, I'd love that. But I was out there, though. Like I said, I spent a lot of time in the Frisco area and San Diego, DeSanto, L.A., but that was years ago. But like I said, I'm going to keep it real short this time. But I just wanted to let you know, Al, because you brought up a fantastic point again, very, very good point about the videography. And even when we play out, we have a videographer. But Tony takes the helm, and he'll sit there for hours. And this I know personally, hours and hours, and then everybody reaps the benefits of all his hard work. And I just, thought I'd let you know. He's very good at what he does. And God knows he's, a better musician. And, oh, by the way, I'm going to throw Dave a plug. Dave, that song of yours today, I don't know if you got my post, was fantastic. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And another plug, Tony is going to be playing a lot more than he knows, and, well, I told him today, than expected on my new solo album, the Triple B Band, that's coming out, because there's a couple songs that basically I wrote, and subconsciously I was thinking about his guitar playing in it. So I finally, after going through the songs today and all month, I'm like, well, Tony will be good at this. And, he plays a beautiful Strat. And so today I sort of caught up on him. The only thing I want you to tell him, Al and Dave, is never give up music. Never give up music, because I'm tired. Every now and then he goes, I don't have time. I'm getting too old. Music is part of Tony DeSanto. It's in his soul. It's in his heart. And as long as I'm alive, I'll keep telling him quitting is not an option. I mean, there's guys up there. Ian Hunter's 79 years old, or going to be 79 years old, and he's still out there touring. And it's like an appendage of Tony. But anyway, I'm going to cut it quick. Al, what you're doing for musicians is amazing. Dave, it's so great to hear your voice. Tony, I love you, and I'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you so much, Bruce.
In, buddy.
Hey, Bruce, before you go, give a quick plug for your page.
Okay, it's Reverb Nation. My first album was called The Maroose Project, and that came out of two guys, Mark and myself, and I told you we were jogging down names. I was jogging down names, and I put Mark and Bruce together, M-A-R, and then Bruce, U-C-E, and it was a project. So you'll find me on Reverb Nation, The Maroose Project, and also on Facebook, my new album and new band will be called the Triple B Band, because there's a Triple B Band out there, but I have the Triple B Band. I mean, it gets that technical anymore. And before I leave, Tony was 100% right with the A&R people, and they're all gone. And he hit the nail on the head. It's not about musicianship anymore, because, again, he turned me on to a lot of the Beatles, a little bit a generation ahead, the 70s, 80s music, with the Coopers and the Aerosmiths, and like who I was in, bands I was influenced by, the Thin Lizzies, and they were, even to be great musicians, where I had to literally start relearning bass lines. Oh my God, Paul McCartney's bass lines, my fingers, as they say, my fingers are bleeding. But anyway, guys, have a great night. Love yous all. Al, I'll talk to you again. Dave, Tony. All right?
Good to talk to you, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
Keep making the music, buddy.
Thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Good night. All right. So here you go, folks. We heard
there. Anybody else out there listening? Call in.
Not at the moment, but listen, call. Anybody wants to talk live with us, you dial 917-889-9970. That's 917-889-9970. We'll be happy to put you on the air. We have about 20 minutes left of the show, so we have plenty of time to get in a few more callers. So let's go back. Let's go back and talk a little bit more about the music room. So Tony, you're meeting people all over the country because of this music room that you put on, and you're getting a lot of following from not only musicians, but I would imagine music lovers and seekers as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've met a lot of people now through my music room page. When I started the page, it was for musicians to post their gigs and their songs and their videos and announcements and whatever else. That's what I started the page for. And I started adding the music history a little bit at a time, and it seemed to catch on, so I was adding more and more and more. But the page basically is there for any musicians to, promote themselves. That's what I wanted. That's the basic thing I want the page to do. Put your videos up, everybody. A lot of people seem to think they can't post on it unless it has something to do with me, and that's not true. The page is there for all musicians, and and even to post videos of your groups that you like. You could even do that too. It gives a variety of music on there for different people to listen to. You can post anything you want as long as it has to do with music. That's all I want, and you keep it clean. But other than that, post away your own gigs, you post videos you like, groups you like, anything like that. You don't even have to be a musician to post. If you're just a big music fan and the group you like, post once in a while one of their videos to let other people hear. You'll be surprised how many people out there that like the same thing you do. And that's how I'm trying to make the page grow. I added the music history to give it a little kick in the ass there to help it out, and it seems like that's what's taken over the page a lot.
Well, I know you've been very kind to me. You've reposted a lot of my stuff. You've liked a lot of my posts, talking about my show, and I'm very appreciative of that. And I'm always looking to help local musicians promote their stuff. That's what my show is basically all about. It's all about local live music, and it's a tough gig. I mean, I look at some of these musicians. They're doing a fantastic job, and a lot of them are struggling, and they don't get the accolades that they deserve. There are a lot of great musicians out there.
Well, you're preaching to the choir tonight, aren't you?
Absolutely. Dave,
even Dave, I want to tell Dave, post whenever you're posting any of your stuff, put it in my music room. That's what the page is there for.
Well, I just learned tonight, just now listening to you talk, that I could do that, and so I will, I promise.
See, that's what I mean. A lot of people think they can't do it because they think it's my page. I have my own personal page. This page here is for all musicians. I mean, I put my stuff on it too, but I want everybody to post on it. I want to get all the local musicians I can on there, and people across the country, bands that promote your stuff, and when you're doing a gig, put your gig announcement on there. When you're making a new song, a new video, put that on there. But that's what the page is basically there for. I mean, post away.
Well, right on. You're going to see some Dave Peaceman on that page now.
That's fantastic.
Good. I was doing it with some, local musicians were posted on different groups, and I was, sharing it over to the music room page. But I'm not going to be doing. If you want to post your stuff, it's there to post. I mean, I can't be your personal DJ. You know what I mean?
That's pretty funny.
But I tried to do it for a while to get it going. But a lot of people think that it's my page and they can't post on it, but that's not what it's there for. It's in the description too. I have a big description right at the top of the page, saying what you can post. So I'm hoping to see.
Now you want me to read too?
Variety of musicians. I don't care what kind of music you play. You just post it and let people hear it.
So Tony, I see you post a lot of stuff about different instruments here. So you have a lot of. I noticed in the last couple of days you posted a lot of neat looking guitars on there. So what are some of the instruments that you fancy the most as far as the guitars and things like that?
I play a Strat, of course. I'm partial to that, But I mean, I've played some Gibson Les Pauls that I really liked a lot, And I like, there's a lot of Gibson guitars I like the Firebird, Flying V. I like all that stuff, I just look around for different guitars or guitars that are worth money and post it up there, and people seem to take an interest in looking at it because they get a lot of likes and stuff. So that's fun to do,
Dave, tell us a little bit about the instruments that you play.
I'm actually a Taylor man, basically. That's my main interest. My main instrument is my 6-string Taylor, but I also play Horner harmonicas, and I got a Yamaha keyboard. I got an Ibanez electric that I diddly on, and I try and make myself sound like a whole band when I record solo. So. And
when you start out writing a piece, do you start on the piano, the organ, or the guitar? How do you compose?
Usually on the guitar, and then I work it into the piano, or I have done it the other way around. I try and be different with each song because my biggest fear in writing as many songs as I do is having my songs start to sound like my songs. You know what I mean? I don't want any of my songs to sound like my other songs. I want them to each be a different experiment musically.
That's not easy.
No, it's not.
That's not easy. I remember as a kid, I used to hate writing book reports. So I'd write a page and a half of book reports, and then page number 3 was the same as page 1. and you'd be amazed. And you'd be amazed how much the teacher didn't read past page 2. How many times I got away with that was always amazed me. And then after a while, you can tell which teacher stopped reading after 6 sentences. So the ones you got caught with, you didn't do that with. But I would imagine it's hard to come up with new tunes and new lyrics, and that's a lot of work. And you did how many? 90? You've done 90 days?
I just released with Michael. I just released what was my 98th, either collaboration or solo writing. I combined them into one list. I got 98 songs out there.
Wow! And how long has that process taken? Decades? To do that many?
Yeah, it's taken. I started writing in the I guess the very late 60s. But I didn't write as often or as frequently as I have in the past 4 or 5 years. Last 4 or 5 years since I retired from my 9-to-5 type jobs, I've had nothing to do but write music, and so I've really been just kicking out songs left and right. And like I said, the hard part of that for me is to just make each song sound original, so that it doesn't sound like my other songs.
Gotcha. You don't want to pull the Al book report routine.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Okay. That's pretty funny. So tell us, who were your influences when you were coming up in music?
My main influence was John Lennon, hands down.
Okay.
I saw him on the Ed Sullivan Show on February 9th, 64, and he had 3 other guys playing with him at the time. And
I remember that show as a little boy.
Yeah, me too. But that's when I decided that that's what I want to do. And John Lennon was the one who caught my eye, and I followed his career a lot more closely than I did the other 3 for quite a number of years, even after they broke up. And he just did. He doesn't know it, but he taught me how to write songs. We never met, but he taught me quite a bit about music. So I call him my mentor I never met. But I'm also kind of influenced by McCartney because I wanted to be melodic, like McCartney's always been melodic, and so I try to do some melodic songs. I try to do some straight rock songs. I try to do folk songs. I try and, dibble-dabble in a little bit of each genre. I've even got one out there that we tried to do hip-hop. It's called All the Same.
Do you try to put messages in your songs? I mean, do you are you singing about certain things, experiences, what the way the world is going? What drives your beat?
It depends on the song. Like the one I released today called "Circle of Love." That's all about the peace that we need and what's going on in the world. And I'm saying, don't be following leaders who are promoting hate. Don't be doing this. Just let's show them that there is a circle of love on this planet and we can all get along.
Amen.
That's in that song. But in other songs, I'm talking about how romantic a situation should be, or how romantic a situation was and how heartbreaking it is now. Or, they're all based loosely on personal experiences, and some of them are based on, of course, my personal opinions. And I tell people that there is a difference between writing a peace song and writing a protest song. A protest song is when I'm angry about something. I got one recently out there called "We Don't Matter Anymore" that's dedicated to a certain president who shall remain nameless.
Okay. Fair enough. I had a question. I forgot it. You're hitting some real good points here. So when you go. When you produce your music, do you do the mastering as well as the production, or do you go to a studio to do the final cut?
I do some of the mastering, and when I'm working with Michael, I send him back what I've come up with, and he does his thing to it too, and probably adds another instrument or two, and that's how we do those songs. But if it's just me, I'm doing all the production and everything right here in my own little studio. I call it the Dave Cave.
Cool. Now, I know a lot of musicians out here in the Philly area. There's big mentoring going on. There seems to be a very tight knit group, and they're bringing up the young artists. What's going on in that area, of the business out in the the West Coast? Do you see a lot of that going on there?
I do indeed. In fact, I'm not actually, I wouldn't call it actually working with, but kind of mentoring a few of the younger artists. I've got a very good friend who's a punk rocker, but it's not my genre, but I can recognize his talent and he's with his lyrics and whatnot. And he amazes me. So I show him what I know about the business and how to go about what I can do. And I'm also learning from him at the same time because it's giving me another area to explore when I write my next song.
There you go. It's music, the music, and the interaction between artists, no matter how famous or how unknown they are, is really a give and take because everybody, I believe, has something to offer.
Yeah, they sure do. And while I've got him on the line, I want to thank you, Tony, for letting me do that harmonica thing on that song. That was really fun.
Oh, it was great, David. You surprised me with it. I'm glad you did it. It was cool. We'll have to, we get the time. We'll have to get together to try and work on something together.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Dave. We're gonna have to get you back, and we'll get you on a show where we'll interview you and some of the folks that you gig with. Maybe we could do that in a couple of weeks. So we're about getting ready to close the show in about 6 minutes here. So what I'd like to do now is, Dave, why don't you tell folks how they can hear or buy your music, or where they can come and see you, and the pages that they can follow you on. So why don't you go ahead and do that for us?
All right, real quick, they can follow me again on Facebook under Dave Peaceman, or the Dave Peaceman Band fan page, or the Dave Peaceman group page. They can follow me on SoundCloud under Dave Peaceman. They can follow me on Reverb Nation under the Dave Peaceman Band. They can buy my music on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, and I know there's another one I'm not remembering. But there's quite a few places where they can indeed purchase the songs. The ones with Michael are under his name, with featuring me, because he writes most of the music when we collaborate. I just write the lyrics and do the vocals. So they can look under Michael Winter too and get a lot of my music. But if they just go on the computers and Google Dave Peaceman, all of my pages come up all at once.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for calling in, Dave, and it's been a pleasure. And promise you'll come back with us in a month or so, or a couple of weeks, and we'll get you in and we'll learn more about you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Tony,
for
letting me horn in on your show. I'm sorry I took up so much time.
Well, Dave, it was great. Thank you for calling. It was great to hear from you.
That's what it's all about.
We ever talked, I think, right?
Say again?
It's the first time we ever really talked, I think.
It is indeed the first time we have talked where we could hear each other's voices. Yep.
Yeah. Dave, take care. Good luck. Best of luck to you. Keep in touch, and maybe we'll get to do something soon.
All right. Thank you much.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you so much, Dave. All right, Tony. Well, there you see it. The Tony D Music Room. It definitely builds bridges between musicians and people who want to hear about music. All right, Tony. So we're gonna kind of wrap it up here. We love having you on, Tony. I love your pages. I love the music history. We love having you on. So we want you to be a regular guest. So we'll come up and figure out shows in the future where you can come back. But why don't you, before we wrap it up, why don't you tell folks how they can find you and how they can hear about what you're doing?
Well, I have a personal page under Tony DeSanto on Facebook, of course. And then there's a music room, Tony D's Music Room. If you just go to Facebook.com/group/Tony D, it should take you right to the music room. I'm on YouTube. I have a YouTube page, youtube.com/RevolverTonyD, the letter D. And I'm on a page called ourstage.com. Just look for Revolver Tony D on that. And I'm on SoundCloud also under Tony D with D-E-E on SoundCloud. And that's about it. I'm on another page called Vandalism. But, if you look for Tony D, Tony DeSanto, or Revolver, you're usually going to find me. Revolver was the name of my last group that I had, my last band I had. So a lot didn't a lot of the titles yet. But that's about it. I do mostly my own recording. Right now I collaborate with a few people. And I do covers and originals. So whatever your fancy is.
Thanks again for coming back with us, and we'll have you back again soon, and we'll talk some more about figuring out how we can get more interest in Tony D's Music Room and local live music in general. And thank you again, and thank you everybody for listening. We're gonna pull the plug now. We'll be back again next Monday. Let's see, who do we have on next Monday? Next Monday. Well, Tony, here's something you might be interested in. Next Monday, we're going to have Turquoise Rose with us. She's a longtime artist from, I believe, from the Texas area. As a matter of fact, I better contact her, make sure she's okay, because of what's going on in southern Texas over there. But we're scheduled for next week on 9/4 at 8 p.m. And then after that, we're going to have an open show. So we're going to encourage anybody throughout the country, anywhere, to call in and talk about their live local music. So we're going to keep the second half of the show, the second hour, open for anybody that wants to talk about their music. But that's what we got going on.
Okay.
That's what we got.
Sounds good.
Okay. That's what we got going on. And again, thank you for being on with us, Tony, and thank everybody for listening. And keep music alive. BNClive.com.
Thanks,
Thank you, everybody. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Al. Thank you very much for having me, and thanks, Dave, and thanks, Bruce, for calling in.
Yes, thank all our guests, and we will be back 1 week from tonight at 8 p.m. All right, everybody. Good night. Don't drink and drive. Get out there and see local live music. Have a good time. Be safe. This is Al Fink. You're listening to BNC Live.